Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. This is just another podcast with Mick. And as you can tell from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about something that's a little serious, and I don't want to say that it's controversial, but I think it's a topic that most people don't like talking about, or at least like posting on social media about, because, you know, in the era of social media, we only like to post about good things that are happening in our life. It's very picked out what we choose to post online. So yeah, I thought, why not talk about failure? And I think I'm kind of well versed on the topic. And since we're talking about this kind of heavy subject, wine is now back on the podcast. So you guys already know we have a few drinks on the podcast, so feel free to have a drink with me. Also, on the previous episode, I didn't have any drinks, and due to a comment, due to popular demand, wine is red. Because of that one comment that was actually from one of my very close friends, so it doesn't really count, but yeah. So feel free to have a drink with me, and cheers. It's so good. So we're having Chardonnay from Yellowtail. Love this. And it's almost finished, so we're probably going to be finishing it tonight. So, yeah. Failure. We're going to be talking about failure. Kind of a heavy topic. And since we're talking about failure, of course, I'm going to be talking about myself, because it would seem like such a douche move to be talking about somebody else, right? So, yeah, we're going to be talking about me and my failures in life, basically my entire life. I hate myself. But all right, so we're gonna go back to like the very, very beginning. So ever since I was a kid, I was never really an overachieving child. Maybe just barely. Let's just say I was an underachieving child. Okay, my grades weren't great. I wasn't really involved in anything. I just looked forward to going home after school, that kind of thing. I actually went through this phase where I really didn't want to go to school at all. Like, we had a driver back then, and he had to drop us off, and I literally did not leave the car. Like, he couldn't drag me out of the car. I was just holding on to the seat so bad, so he had to drive me home. And when we came back home, my mom was like, "What the hell are you doing here?" Yeah, so I got over that. Okay, but basically, again, I wasn't super invested in my school activities. I just didn't see the merit in trying so hard. I just made sure that I didn't fail. Okay, and then there's my sister. So my sister is just super smart, top of her class, involved in almost every club activity. And to give you a summary of what me and my sister were how different we were, basically I had to stay in school until 5 p.m. because of my remedial classes. Yeah, especially in Filipino, Civica, all that good stuff. Flashbacks. Oh God. And then she had to stay back because of club activities. She was involved in almost every club, so yeah, we had to stay in school because of that. So yeah, also there was a time, I can't forget this ever, there was a time where she was crying because she didn't want to go because she couldn't go to school because she had a fever. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss school," and all that, and I was just right next to her trying to get sick, so I didn't have to go to school. So yeah, that's how different Irish and I were at that age, a decade ago. Maybe more than a decade ago. God, I'm old. But yeah, so I wasn't I won't say that I was stupid. I just didn't try. So my grades were just below average, but weren't failing. So I guess because of that, my parents didn't really expect much from me. But they weren't all that disappointed with me either. I guess at the end of the day, they were hoping that I was just a late bloomer. So yeah, I don't think there was much I achieved as a kid. Oh, wait. I entered like this contest when I was in 4th grade, like it's not extemporaneous speaking. We were given like poems to read, and then we had to like read them out. I'm trying to remember the name of the poem. Momentous Days, something like that. So basically, we were given like this poem to memorize, and we'd have to like read it out to the entire student body. And this is actually really funny because I was in my 4th grade, and 3 of us had to read it per grade. And basically, I wasn't all that satisfied with my performance. Like it was meh, I guess. So I remember like at the end of that contest, at the end of my reading rather, I told my mom, "Ma, let's just go home. I don't think I'm gonna win this, so there's no point. I just wanted to go home and play like I forgot the name of the game, but it's like the frog where it spits out the balls, and then like the colors, you have to match the colors. I just really wanted to play that game." So we just went home, and then the next day I came into class and everybody was like, "Woo! Woo!" And I was just like, what the hell is happening? But it turns out I won, which is super weird because I just imagined like it was a freaking contest, and like the moment they announced like the winners for the 4th grade, and then she isn't there. She went home. But yeah, I won that. So I guess I didn't leave my mom super disappointed during my grade school life, because I won 1 award. So there's that. But other than that, not much. I just tried to not fail as much as possible, basically. But the first time I experienced like some sort of like academic achievement was in my 3rd year of high school. So again, basically I was the kind of person who never really tried in school, and my first academic achievement was very weird for me because I really wasn't expecting it at all. So basically every Friday in my high school, every other Friday, was like a club day. So we'd have the day half off. Yeah, we'd be dismissed at 12. So we were having our homeroom. We were wrapping up the class. We were about to be dismissed, and I remember like not even seating properly. Like literally just like I wasn't facing the teacher. I was just like talking to whoever was next to me, and then the teacher suddenly like the teacher suddenly said my name. She was just like, "Florentina," and I was just like, "What's happening? What's happening?" I was like, "Napagalitan ba ako? Am I in trouble?" You know? And then like she said another kid's name, and I was just like, "What's happening? What is she announcing?" And then they're like top 10, and I was just like, "What? What? Are you serious?" Oh, like in what world am I a top 10 student? What world am I an academic achieving student? You know, it was so weird for me. And apparently I was top 10 of that class during the first quarter of my 3rd year in high school. And I was just so shocked. And when I came home and told my mom, she was just as shocked. She was just like, "What? We have to celebrate." So yeah, I made my mom proud. I made my mom very proud that day. But yeah, that was my very first academic achievement, and I guess it felt really good at the time, you know, like, oh, so there is a point in trying, I guess. So it really helped me improve my study habits, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I was able to graduate as a top student, but I wasn't able to graduate with honors, but, you know, it is what it is. But basically, when I went on to university, college, you know, dentistry, if you guys don't already know, but I always announce it. You know, I always say in my videos, I am a dentistry student, and I'm still a dentistry student, so cheers to all the dentistry students trapped in the pandemic. But basically, going into college, going into university, I really wanted to try. Because, you know, it was college. This is where it counts. And college or dentistry is a 6-year course. 2 years pre-dent, and then 4 years dentistry proper, 2 years of dental education, and then the next 2 years being clinical and dental education. So for the first 4 years of my college career, everything was going fine. I wasn't failing, and I really did give my all. Like Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, I'd be at school, really giving it my all. And during my fourth year, my second year proper, second sem, I failed. And this was pretty much my very first failure in life, coming from not really failing, but not really doing a great job in school. It was pretty rough, because I really did give my all. Like, I remember that there was a time where my mom usually drops us off in Makati during Mondays, and I have a prof that's like super strict. 7 a.m. quiz. If you go to class after 7 a.m., it's the end of the quiz. They'll only let you in at the end of the quiz. And my mom had to drop my sister off at the time, so when we got to school, it was like 7:05, and I just broke down crying, and she's just like, "What's happening?" I'm just like, "I missed the quiz. I'm screwed." It was just so stressful at the time, and I really did give my all, but I still ended up failing. And I remember the time that I found out that I failed. It sucked because I was in Japan, and this trip was like a big trip for my family because it was the first international trip in like a decade. It's been a while since we've been abroad. So when we went on this trip in 2016, it's so funny. That's where I found out that I had failed my class. It was the second day. We were going around Osaka Castle, and I found out that I had to tell my mom, my grandparents during the trip, and of course they were disappointed and they were upset because it's not great news that your kid failed the subject and is now delayed because of it. But I don't blame them. Of course, it's still on me. But I was even more disappointed in myself. And I haven't really exactly, forgiven myself for that. I really, really beat myself up on that trip. But we went to Harry Potter World, so I was fine the next day. But it's always been something that I don't know, it was just like such a big part of my life because like it was my first failure, and the way I coped with it wasn't exactly great. It was a really hard time for me because again, my entire life back then was school. I didn't, how like most people have those really cool, amazing college lives where they go out, they have so much freedom now because it's college. For me, it wasn't the case, or for like most like dentistry students and all that. It was just, my life was really just school. Like my sister's college life was so different from mine. I don't want to get into it. I don't think I have the permission to talk about my sister's college life, but it was just so different. But basically, going back to my first failure, so I stumbled, and I've just pretty much been free falling ever since. It hasn't exactly gotten better since 2016, if I can say, let me top up. Starts crying on the podcast. No, I am strong. But basically, I haven't really progressed all that much in life. And just a couple of days ago, I went through this like really bad mental breakdown because I'm turning 24 in like less than 2 months, which is insane. So I feel like I'm running out of time. I'm almost halfway through my 20s, and I haven't exactly done anything really. Like when I look online and see like my high school classmates, they all have jobs, they're all successful, some of them are starting their family, I have friends with kids, it's just intense to think about. And here I am in whatever, in my 24th year, and I'm still studying. You know, it's so hard not to compare yourself to other people. I just feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm in pause, you know, and it's just a horrible position to be in, especially that I'm a dentistry student in the pandemic, because, you know, a lot, basically our entire like graduation is based off of our clinic, and being in the pandemic, we can't really do our clinical requirements, so we're pretty much kind of stuck. To think that 3 sems have gone by, that's insane. That's a year and a half. So, you know, apart from being already delayed, I'm even more delayed. So it's just such a frustrating and infuriating place to be in. And I don't know, I guess I'm just really disappointed in myself, because I didn't really see myself in this position. You know, if you asked me 10 years ago, 14-year-old Mick, like, where do you think you'll be when you're 24? I swear to God, it's not this. You know, and especially considering that I have an incredibly successful sister. I mean, I love Irish, and I'm so, so proud of her and where she is in life. You know, at her age, 24, she had already moved to Singapore, living her own life, making her own money, not being dependent on anyone at all. And, you know, look at me now, 24-year-old in her bedroom, drinking and bitching about being stuck in life. So you can see the difference between me and Irish is pretty darn big. Am I disconnected? Oh, okay. I thought that my mic disconnected. But basically, there's a fly in my room. Okay. I don't know. I just feel like I'm so stuck at my age, and I'm running out of time, which is so infuriating. Basically, these thoughts are just at the back of my head all of the time, and there are just days where it's a little more upsetting. You know, like the other day, I had a complete mental shutdown. Didn't want to do anything. Just lie down in bed all day, just like contemplating my life. Like, oh my God, where am I? You know. But I don't want to leave this on a bad note. I guess, of course. You know, I just think we need to find a better way to confront failure, because, you know, we tend to beat ourselves up and overthink about every little thing. And I think that that's a bad way to look at it. You know, failures aren't always bad. I guess what matters most is how we react to our failures, because of course nobody goes through life without failing. You know, even my sister, my ever so successful sister, faced failure in her day. I hope. I'm kidding. But, you know, I feel like everybody goes through it, of course, and I think it matters most like how you react to it and how you deal with it. You have to rise up from it, right? So I don't really have advice to give, obviously, because me personally, I'm going through it. I honestly see myself as a failure, and I know a lot of people are going to say that I might be being over dramatic, but, you know, I just really didn't expect to be where I am in life right now. But there's no point, I guess, in sulking. There are times where it's okay to have bad days, but you can't let it get to your head and just let yourself, you know, stay in this state. The whole point is learning from it, improving, and just trying to do the best that you can and hope for the better and hope that it does get better. And if it doesn't, well, thank God there's alcohol, right? Am I right? Cheers. I'm sorry. But in all honesty, yeah, I don't really have advice to give. Just know that you're not alone. Because, you know, we have this tendency to like carry the world on our shoulders and feel like nobody understands us, but more often than not, we're all experiencing the same things, and you're not alone. And again, what matters is just trying to do the best that you can and not wallowing in your sadness. Am I right? Am I right? I'm gonna finish this bottle. So yeah, it's easy to feel like you're losing yourself and you're running out of time. I don't know. It's just so easy to compare yourself to other people, especially in the era of social media, where almost like when you see YouTubers online, these 20-year-olds that are super rich and super successful because of their channel, or like your high school classmates that have graduated and are super successful already. It's just so easy to be intimidated and feel bad for yourself. But at the end of the day, there are lots of people just like you struggling and just trying their best as well, and that's what matters, that you try your best, or at least that's what I tell myself. It's not a race. That's like the slogan for everybody who's having a hard time with life. But it's true, everybody has their own timeline for success. Some people graduate at 30, some people start a family at 40, it doesn't really matter. But you just have to keep going and keep trying. I feel like I'm losing myself. Also, I feel like I've had like 2 glasses worth of wine, so I'm pretty pink right now. I can feel it. So I'm just gonna end it there. Hopefully you guys weren't super bummed out by this. I'm sorry. This was more of a rant than it was like a podcast. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's pretty much that for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I hope. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Ooh, that was a lot.